Caption: Faith does not wait for calm. Title: Stepping out amidst the raging storm. Subtitle: Why the work always begins with you. Dear disciple of Christ, yesterday, Peter recognized the impossible. He saw Christ walking toward him on the very water that threatened to drown his party. The story moves you today, not because he stayed in the boat, but what moved him forward. One foot over the edge, then the other. The storm still howls, the waves striking his legs, and yet, for a few trembling moments, he walks. Why this moment matters. Because most of us are not asking whether Christ exists. We are asking whether obedience works when everything around us seems to be tossed to and fro amidst the storms of life. The question I've been asked for years. For many years, I presented for NAMI, standing in a room filled with parents, spouses, siblings, people desperate to help someone who they loved deeply, who is struggling with mental illness. Almost without fail, someone will ask, what can I do to help my son, my daughter, my wife? They were not asking casually. They were pleading. And my answer may have surprised them. Where help actually begins. It was never about the doctors or hospitals or forcing compliance. Those things matter. They can be necessary. I'm grateful for them. But they are not the foundation to helping your loved one. The foundation is this: raise the bar in your own life first. Christ said it plainly: cast the beam out of your own eye. Not because others don't need your help, but because transformation spreads from lived light, not instruction. What did it cost to learn that? I did not arrive at this answer easily. In the spring of 2000, I was arrested on Temple Square during a mental health crisis. Handcuffed, jailed, hospitalized, court-ordered into treatment. Years later, ironically, just blocks away from Temple Square, I stood before a room full of police officers teaching crisis awareness. I told them something that still surprises people. I'm grateful. Grateful I was arrested. Grateful I was hospitalized. Grateful it happened more than once. Because there was no other way I would have accepted help. It took repeated humbling before I was ready to be healed. That was not a failure of God's plan. That was his plan. What many sincere helpers miss. Many well-being people think, I don't struggle like that, so I must have the solution. But this is backwards. Not having an affliction does not qualify you to fix one. It qualifies you to love, not to manage. I have praised countless family members who took NAMI family-to-family classes. People who said, I just wanted to understand so I don't make things worse. That effort speaks volumes. And still, the deepest help does not come from expertise. It comes from example. When you live the teachings of Christ more fully, in your thoughts, in your discipline, in your humility, the tide rises, and all ships rise with it. Stepping out is personal. When Peter stepped onto the water, he did not do it for the other disciples. He did it because Christ called him. Your path of healing, growth, and peace will not look like mine, nor like anyone else's. God has crafted a perfect plan for you, not a plan of perfectionism, but a plan where you are perfected in Christ. Your trials, your timing, your afflictions, all placed precisely so that you are transformed. You become capable of lifting others without forcing, fixing, or preaching. Preach the gospel your whole life, and when necessary, use words. St. Francis of Assisi. This is published peace now. This is what I mean by published peace now. not slogans, not silence, not avoidance. Peace begins in thought, moves in obedience, shows up in action. It starts in the heart, it settles in the home, it spreads through the housetops, and becomes a harvest with no poor among you. Not building your empire, but God's kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. One step. Peter stepped out while the storm still raged. You are being invited to do the same. One step. Not because the water is calm, but because his presence is in you. And that is the start of true discipleship. In faith, Kent, publish peace now. Caption. When called, Peter did not argue with the waves. He stepped.